Hello and welcome back to another video by the TKAT Professional Development YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at marking assignments from the teacher's point of view. So we have our classroom page. I'm going to enter your classroom. So it will look something like this. So to see which assignments have been completed by your students, there's a couple ways you can do it, but I'm just going to show you the way that I like to do it. So I like to go straight to the classwork page and have a look at the assignments individually. So I can see here for this assignment, one child has handed it in. For guided reading, no one's handed it in yet. And for writing, one person has also handed it in. The first thing that we're going to be having a look at is marking quizzes. So we're going to have a look at the marking the maths quiz. So click on the assignment, click view assignment, and then click on the Google form. So this will come up. So this is the same view as your pupils would see. If you go down to the bottom right-hand corner and click this button, you will get Edit Form. So you will see it looks like this. So this is the editing page where sort of you could adapt the questions. You could add more questions, put different answers in, for example. But what we're going to do is go to the Responses tab. Now, there's a couple ways that you can mark quizzes. You can mark it by question. So you can mark several children's responses at once. So you can just say yes or mark incorrect or correct, and then go to the different answers. Or you can mark individually, which is the one I prefer to do. So down here would have all the email addresses of the children that have completed the quiz, so that afterwards you can give that personal, individualized feedback to that child. So this is Ivy's piece of work. Let's have a look. Obviously, you would have submitted your answers in here. So the quiz will automatically mark itself, but it's just a case of maybe they've done something odd, like they've left a space between the 7 and the 9. So that means they've got it wrong, but you know that they've actually got it right. So this is just a way of checking. Here you can see the feedback that they got. So thank you for your answer. So these are right. We only filled a couple of these in because I did it in the other video, so you can see these are marked wrong. But if you wanted to mark them correctly, you just change the 0 to a 1, and then it's marked as correct when you press save. I'm not going to mark any of these as correct because they're actually obviously blank. But once you've gone to the end and you think, okay, I've done all of those, click save. It will come up with the mark here. Then you need to press release score. You can see it's only going to that child. Give them a message. And then remember to, and then something that they need to work on for next time. I like to copy this message, and I'll show you why in a second. So I'm going to press send emails and release. I'm going to go back to my assignment page, and I'm going to find Ivy. You can see she's handed it in, and I'm going to change this for her and give her a mark out of 100. So this is just sort of like a generalized mark that you can give. You could change the points to mimic exactly what the quiz was out of, but I prefer to just give them something out of 100 because it just allows them to sort of get a gauge of how they did. So obviously Ivy got 6 out of 22. So I'm just going to say that approximately she got, 25%. Then what I'm going to do is you can see that this is now turned black. So I can click this. It will come up with a little box that looks something like this and an area where I can write a private comment. Now, this is why I This is why I copied the comment from earlier, so I can just do that. I can click return. And you can see here it's gone to the marked section, And Ivy has got a private comment with a suggestion of what she needs to do next time. So if you go back to the instructions, you can now see, not the instructions, but the student work, you can now see that you've marked one, there's no handed in yet, and there's 3 children that have still got to do it. So this is just a nice way of keeping track of which ones you've marked and which ones you have left to mark. So that's marking quizzes. I know that was a maths one, but it's the same for other things that you're going to use. It's just a case of changing the sort of 0-1 mark system and then releasing the scores. And then if you want to give them a mark here, I like to do this just so that it's officially marked and they can see that they've completed it. The children will, when you release the score, the children will get an email saying what they got out of whatever points you set. And they'll also be able to come back onto the quiz to view which ones they got wrong. So that's why this individual feedback is really good, because if you wanted to say, oh, that wasn't quite right, and put that in there, when they go to their quiz, they'll be able to see those comments. So that is marking quizzes. We're now going to have a look at marking a Google document. So let's go to the English that we uploaded in another video. So the marking writing assignments one. I can see one child has handed it in. So I'm going to click View Assignment. And I can see Ivy has handed hers in. So I'm going to click her name here. I can see she's actually uploaded a picture as well. So perhaps this was a picture of her writing. So she might not have necessarily done it on the computer, but I could click this and I'll be able to see what she has uploaded. You'll also see down the side, 2 seconds, loading. You'll also see this down the side here. So you'll be able to give her a mark out of 100. So if this was a piece of writing, just a picture of writing, read it, and then obviously you could give her a mark. Private comments, there you go. For some reason weren't loading, but here you would give feedback as well. But I'm just going to show you how sort of my school marks a piece of English work. Obviously, there's different marking policies in each school, but I'm just going to show you an idea of what you could do. So if we go to the piece of English, the piece of writing that she's done. So this was a big write for Year 6. I'm going to scroll down once it's loaded. It's very slow today. So I've scrolled down to the piece of writing here. Now, down the side, you can see grading, which is where you give the grade and the comment, but you can also see this, which is a comment bank. Now, this is empty at the moment. Oh, there we go. This is empty at the moment because I haven't added any. Our focus for this piece of writing was using fronted adverbials, and it was using dialogue and using accurately punctuated dialogue. So those are the 2 things that I'm probably going to focus on. So as I'm reading through, I can see a few days ago. So that is something that we were focusing on. So I'm going to highlight that and give her a comment. This comment box will pop up like this, and I can write a comment for her, and it will highlight that piece of text, that fronted adverbial, for her to see that I'm talking about that specifically. Okay. What I could do now is I could add this to bank. And then next time I want to use that, I could click these 3 little dots here, copy to clipboard, and then I could copy and paste that into there. So I might find another one in a second that I could do. So it will come up in sort of a yellow highlighter, and it will have you as the teacher over here. What the children could do then, if it was a next step comment, for example, or like a spelling error, because if I do this, I don't know, if I'm changing the word, for example, oh, I don't know what I've done now. You get the idea. I can change it and this will come up like this. And when the child thinks, yeah, that's okay, they can click these two here. Just going to change that back so it actually spelled right. Okay, so they can sort of resolve that issue. So if I go down, I think this is well punctuated speech. So I'm just going to highlight this section, give it a comment. Well punctuated dialogue here. And then that will come up like that. So in our score for a big right, we will give 2 positive comments. Normally will be related to the SPAG element or a content element that we've taught earlier in the week. And then what we do is give a sort of a generalized well done comment. But then I'll give her, in your next piece of writing, I would like to see use of semicolons, for example. And you can jazz this up with some emojis if you want to, and then just give her a score. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to give her 85 out of 100, and then that comment. So these will appear when she opens up her Word document. So she'll be able to see these little comments here. She'll also be able to see where it is highlighted. It's worth noting that when they go into their Google Drive account as well, they can still open up these documents long after you delete them, and they will still be able to view these comments on here. They won't be able to see the private comments, but they will still be able to see the highlighting and the comments that you've given them out of the positive section. So I'm just going to post that to her, and I'm going to return it to her. And now that has been marked. So you'll see here when you go back to student work, there you go. This one has been marked. There's 3 children still to hand it in, and there's no handed in. So down here, you can also see your comment again that you gave her. So that is marking different assignments. So I hope that helped. And in the next couple of videos, we'll be going over sort of making these different assignments as well. So just make sure you look out for those. So I hope that helped. Don't forget to like this video if it's been useful to you and subscribe for updates. And thank you very much for watching.